Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy GZTV. I have the Fortnite booted up over there, so right after this, catch me on Twitch, GZTV Live on Twitch, all lowercase, for probably about an hour, 20 minutes. We're probably going to listen to some Giveon. We might listen to the new Lupe Fiasco record, that sort of thing. But today, on the YouTube, I'm really excited because I'm going to play The Quarry later, and I'm probably going to play it tomorrow as well. But yeah, The Quarry's a really fun game. We've been doing gameplays on the channel. Maybe after I'm done with this, I'm going to do a co-op mode with my friend Greg. We might stream it on Twitch or something. But yeah, this episode, one of the big things is a lot of things might have been revealed about Nate, and we're going to probably figure out some things about him as the season goes on. I feel like we're definitely focusing on the Jacobs family a lot here. Judging by the first few moments of this episode, you'd think the episode that followed Rue's hellish descent into heroin withdrawal and narrow escape from a drug den would focus on the teens thank God I survived next steps, but you would be wrong there. They focus on other things. But it turns out that the bulk of the episode is spent on something almost as harrowing, the fallout of the Cassie, Nate, Maddie triangle. So kind of focusing on those three characters, kind of giving a perspective on how they feel about the situation, each character. As is to be expected at this point, Nate spends the episode acting in ways that are worrisome, terrifying, and manipulative. He's got a lot of mixtures of feelings going through his head throughout this episode. There's also a moment in which something awful and heretofore unaddressed seems to come to light. And how did the show just get even darker? Like, we hated Nate, but now we might have to feel sympathy for the guy, because there's some crazy shit going on with him, you know? Yeah, let's see here. Let's go through the plot. Again, this is not spoiler free. I know a lot of people on YouTube do spoiler free reviews of these shows, but I'm not one of them. So yeah. Let's deal with Rue first. She's alive. She's back home. She is the one that peeked through the door, not the police, which we thought might have been the police looking for Rue. But yeah. But as withdrawal has its way with her, she's very bad off, like terrible. After all of the even after taking some morphine at Lori's house, obviously getting drugged in the process, she still feels withdrawal. The first shot we see, she cries and snots all over the dining table as she tries to unwrap a Jolly Rancher candy. It is not a not-so-Jolly Rancher. Sorry, that was a joke. Shout out to TV Line because they give us these articles to read through and discuss. I can't thank them enough. Her mom is hoping to get her into a rehab facility as soon as a bed opens up, which I'm sure Rue doesn't want, but it's probably for the better. She definitely needs to get some attention. She needs to get some counseling, some help, some people that surround her in a space where she's free to talk about everything. And Rue is this like rebellious, like I don't give a fuck attitude. She has it, but eventually she needs to let that go. I don't know if she ever will. In the meantime, she cares for her howling, wreathing, nearly incapacitated daughter while Gia cries as she witnesses her sister's torment. Yeah, Ali says something in this episode that definitely, I could definitely agree with. We're going to get to that. Ali makes contact with his family, and that's really good. Ali could be the savior for Rue's drug addiction here. But yeah, Gia's crying. It must be really bad for her. Yeah, it's very pathetic. Not in a negative way, very pathetic to see how Rue is dealing with drug addiction. They need to get her some help. Rue has mixed feelings about what she screamed at her mother. I wish I could say I didn't mean any of it. But then again, she might have meant some of it. She truly regrets what she said to Ali, reducing someone's life to an ugly moment, and punishing them for it. She really likes Ali. She deep down in her heart, she knows Ali's just there to help. But in the moment, she was like, dude, I don't like you. You need to stay out of my life. You're a crackhead type of thing. So she works up her nerve and calls him. Really good move, really good gesture from Rue in this episode. He's short with her at first, but once she gets out her apology, he instantly forgives her and then, off her surprise, quotes the Quran. The hour is certainly to come, so you must forgive graciously. Obviously most religions are accepting of other people despite what they do wrong, their wrongdoings. They're very forgiving. I know Christianity is a very forgiving religion. The hour is certain to come, so you must forgive great. Yeah, he said that. Very, very emotional moment between these two. A very big developmental piece in the relationship. She sobs in relief and thanks him, then pops another Jolly Rancher. Instead of doing pills, do Jolly Ranchers. I feel like that's something that a lot of drug addicts are actually told to do, actually. They don't give you the same effects, but, like, they're, like, hard candy. Yeah, that sort of thing. There's something you put in your mouth and you taste something. I don't know. Ali, eventually comes over to cook dinner for the Bennett women. Great guy. I love Ali. I've always been in support of his character ever since he's been introduced. But after he arrives, he jokingly banishes Rue and her mom to another room, which gives him some time to talk to Gia. Very funny guy. Obviously, this was harsh. Like, I don't know if this family was able to really handle that situation that well, but he's talking to Gia. This was a great moment between these two, introducing himself, kind of giving her some insight on the whole situation that Rue's going through. He lets her know that it would be totally be understandable if she were angry at Rue, which she probably is, but at the same time, she's definitely feeling for her sister. But she maintains that she's not. She's actually the opposite. She's actually sympathetic for her. She admires her because she's going through the struggle type of thing. But yeah. When they all sit down to eat, Rue says she wants to go to rehab, get clean, and make amends with everyone in her life. When that moment comes, I'm sure she's not going to be ready for it, but she is willing to admit that she needs help in this moment, and it's great. I mean, Gia expresses a little bit of doubt, which her mom shuts down quickly. Gia knows that Rue's not going to like rehab. She's been pushing it away. There are other solutions besides rehab to drug addiction. Obviously, it's the big staple in the drug world for getting clean, but yeah. But Ali sides with the younger sibling. After all, Rue has let herself and everyone else down multiple times. I don't know what their stance is. Gia asks Ali if it's possible for Rue to get clean, given the very small odds of that happening. It's very hard to get clean. I wouldn't understand because I don't do drugs, but I know. I've seen scientific videos on it, just how addicting drugs are. I've seen studies on it. I mean, it's a very harsh situation. It's something you can easily get yourself strung into, but you can't easily get yourself out of. Yeah, I mean, he says he doesn't know, but there's hope. But it's Rue's job to find it. Rue must be the one. She can't rely on other people to help her get clean. Before he goes, Ali tells Leslie to let Rue be Rue and shower that little one with love. She's been waiting on it. Let Rue kind of express her personality, and the drug addiction will go away from her if she's just herself. Obviously, when she's off the drugs, she's not herself, like no one is. I mean, they must be supportive of her through this process. I love the words that Ali gives here. And that night, Gia crawls into Rue's bed where the sisters talk about how Rue doesn't really know what's going on in Gia's life anymore. So Rue's like, you're keeping a lot of secrets from me. I don't really appreciate it. That type of thing. She's definitely very confessional in this episode. I'll tell you when you get back, Gia whispers. In the bedroom down the hall, Leslie gets a call that there's no rehab option for Rue right now. So yeah, obviously they cut in and out of this situation, but this is kind of the end of Rue's story for the show. I really like taking the focus off of Rue. She is definitely the poster character. She's the main character, obviously. It's Zendaya. She has to get the main role, but like, it's really nice to see other characters' vantage points, and that's definitely shown in this episode. There's no rehab option for Rue. Please don't do this, she says, crying and getting increasingly upset. My daughter's going to kill herself. That's just, I don't like that, because that's honestly Leslie having no hope in her daughter, which I was not a fan of. I'm sure Rue heard it too. Yeah. Let's go to the Jacobs house. The aftermath of Cal's big speech, the aftermath, is the morning after Maddie learned that Cassie and Nate were a thing. This was a big night. Oh my god. Very eventful. But Nate is unaware of the drama. Nate doesn't know, by the way. Nate was not there when Rue ratted out Cassie. When he works out, he doesn't look at his phone, so he's blissfully ignorant of the zillion calls and texts from Cassie, so he's kind of ignoring it. He's not toxic. I don't think that's toxic from him. He just honestly didn't know what was going on there. And I'm not mad at him for... God damn. And actually, Rue voices over... Leave me the fuck alone. And actually, Rue voices over he's feeling great because after an 18-year dick swinging contest with his dad, Nate has finally won. Nate feels like he won that situation. He drove his dad out of the house. He wasn't a fan of his dad. He didn't like how he handled things and all that. He didn't like his principles. Yeah, he feels probably relieved. His mother is also feeling rather exuberant, dancing to En Vogue in the kitchen as she drinks, smokes, and bakes. So really, Aaron's probably the only child that's like really hurt by Cal Jacobs leaving, you know. He joins her in a mid-morning cocktail, which is interesting. You know, they definitely get to express themselves in that way, where she advises him, whatever you do, don't marry anyone you meet in high school. He's probably not going to follow that advice, to be honest. They debate whether Nate is an angry guy versus just being angry at Cal. Marcia highly doubts her son's assertion that all of his vitriol was Cal-focused. He focuses his anger on other people. Yeah, I mean, Nate's probably going to continue the vicious cycle that his father did with marrying Marcia. The whole conversation is unsettling, particularly when he brings up Maddie, whom she doesn't like. She doesn't like Maddie. She doesn't like her attitude. She doesn't like the sassiness. And admits that she was proud of Nate when he mishandled this then girlfriend when things blew up at the carnival. Obviously in season 1. She liked when he manhandled her. That's ridiculous. But when he jokes that he didn't have to go as far as choking Maddie, Nate gets deadly serious. He's definitely offended. I would be too. Angrily pointing out the charges were dropped and seeming to equate that with negating anything he did, which he still fucking did it, but the charges were dropped because it's Maddie. She doesn't want her boyfriend to get in trouble. And then things get even harder to watch. Marcia muses about how she can't understand how Nate is so angry because you are such a sweet little baby. It's because of Cal Jacobs. Like, I'm going to blame it on him. She recalls that around age 8 or 9, he darkened from a kind and gentle kid into something much more concerning. So his mother is like openly admitting to him that once you turned 8 or 9, you turned into a bad child. It was such a drastic change, he points out, that she sometimes worries if he'd had a head trauma that she didn't know about. I feel like you're trying to say something without saying it. Possibly. I mean, he says menacingly. She says no and backs off. But the seed has been planted. Oh God, in addition to the emotional and physical abuse, did Cal sexually abuse Nate as well? That's possibly a theory that fans had after watching this episode. Let's go to the Maddie situation. Maddie is being 100% Maddie in her response to her best friend and her boyfriend hooking up, ex-boyfriend, plotting Cassie's murder and carrying Cal's disc around in her purse, though we don't know her plan for the incriminating footage. That's Jules. Like, why would you do something mean to Jules? I don't know what Jules did. Meanwhile, Cassie is loudly, tearfully, and so very annoyingly protesting her innocence to her mother and her sister, both of whom don't really see things her way. They don't agree with her. Cassie is very annoying in this episode, by the way. I was very annoyed. After Samantha comes home while Maddie is babysitting, they wind up sharing a bottle of wine in the pool. This was a good moment for Maddie to kind of talk to someone that's been there, done that. Maddie tells her employer everything and is shocked when Samantha admits that she went through something similar in college, but she was the Cassie in that situation, so she hooked up with her friend's ex-boyfriend. Maddie probably felt resentment towards her after that, but yeah, across town, Nate breaks into Cal's desk, finds his father's revolver, and takes it with him when he gets in the car. Yeah, Nate's taking stuff a little too far here. He's waiting for Maddie in the dark in her room when she comes home. It was a harrowing moment, like looking in the mirror and seeing him just sitting there. It was kind of scary. It was something out of a scary movie. He says nothing until she changes her clothes and happens to notice him. And the way the scene is shot gives me anxiety-induced hives just remembering it. He points the gun at her and demands the disc, threatening her. He needs that disc back. She says she doesn't have it. They wind up on the bed, and he puts the weapon to her temple. And then pulling the trigger at random a couple of times until she begs him to stop, sobbing, and confesses that the disc is in her purse. So he pretty much played Russian roulette with the gun, and there was no bullets in the gun. Once the disc is in his hands, he apologizes and says he was just joking. There were no bullets in the gun. He was never going to kill himself or anything, or her. I'm not sure she can hear him, curled into the fetal position and wailing on the bed, but he doesn't seem to care. He says goodbye and leaves, like he literally has no sympathy for anyone. He doesn't go home. Instead, he calls Jules, then texts when she hangs up. It's about my dad and you. I want you to be able to protect yourself. Jules got a call from Nate. She's like, no way I'm dealing with this guy anymore. It piques her interest. She pockets a box cutter and warily climbs into his truck. obviously being precautious. They learned about this guy in the past. Nate apologizes for everything he did. You didn't deserve it. I was trying to protect somebody that didn't deserve to be protected. I don't know why I was on this side when I should have been on your side the whole time, that sort of thing. Told her about Cal's habit of taping his encounters. Now his dad had a breakdown and moved out. So he pretty much told her everything about his personal family life. That's good to get that off the chest. She clearly wasn't expecting any of this. And after asking a few questions about how many people have seen the video, she thanks him. No one's seen the video but Cal and Nate, really. For what it's worth, everything I ever said was true. And she said, same here. So, after Jules leaves, he calls Cassie and tells her to pack a bag. She's coming to stay at his place. So she does. Interesting. Let's get to the Kat thing with Ethan. Kat breaks up with Ethan, lying that she has a terminal brain illness, and then using his skepticism about that proclamation as evidence that he's a terrible person and they shouldn't be together. Kat, man, so manipulative. I didn't like her doing that at all. Lexi goes to Fezco's house and they watch Stand By Me together, then sing along with this title song a little, then hold hands. Very romantic. Neither is aware that Faye's boyfriend has shown up and tipped off his lady that he's cooperating with the police who are investigating Mouse's death. This is going to lead to something huge. But that's all I got